Hey Huskies and friends, it's beginning to look a lot like finals. Can you believe it's almost that time already? We just have a few weeks left and you know that means it's crunch time. Whether it's dotting our I's and crossing our T's on our final assignments or wrapping things up at our placements, we are in the pocket and we're all trying to finish well.
Hi everyone, my name is Maryana Sakhryn and I'm an English TLC advisor located at St. James campus.
Today we're talking with Maryana from TLC. No, not Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls and not Tender Love and Care. I mean, we do love and care about you, but it's the Tutoring Learning Centre. We understand that the student life isn't easy and we all learn in different ways. As we say in Jamaica, what good for geese, no good for gander, which simply means things are not and never a one-size-fits-all, and the same applies to your education. As such, the TLC is the place where all your academic needs, such as academic language and writing skills, math and statistics, accounting, software proficiency, and the list goes on. But you don't have to take my word for it because we have the experts here on the podcast today to tell us how TLC works, how we can access them, and most importantly, some tips for the upcoming exam preparation.
So the Tutoring and Learning Centre is an academic support hub for all of our GBC students. So we support our students in developing core academic skills so they can reach their goals and succeed in their courses. And we provide support in any course our students are taking at George Brown. Some of the most popular focuses at the TLC is academic language and writing skills like essays, reports, APA referencing. English as a second language, of course, or ESL. So we have conversation groups, grammar, workshops, reading comprehensions. We also support students with math and statistics and accounting courses. And to our waterfront students, we offer tutoring in anatomy, biology, chemistry, pathology, pharmacology, physics. And for our Casaloma students, software proficiency. We help with AutoCAD. We also help with Microsoft apps. And we also help our students with learning and practicing their study skills. So for example, time management, note-taking strategies, task preparation that we talked about today, presentation skills. So if you need help with those courses, or you just want to practice, or you just want somebody to help you get ready for a test, then absolutely visit our centers and book an appointment with us.
Maryana started by telling us what were some of her best test prep strategies.
So doing well on the exam is a skill, and like any skill, it takes practice. So number one is, of course, time management. And this is a key when it comes to preparing for your exams. We know that students have different commitments. So using time management tools like agendas and calendars and really planning your time with specific and realistic tasks is very important and helpful for our students. Also, remember to schedule and take breaks. That's very important. And one of our tutors, Noreen, who actually offers study skills workshops in our Casaloma campus, suggests using the Pomodoro technique. And with that technique, what you work for 25 minutes or you study for 25 minutes, and then you take a 5-minute break. Or you can study for 50 minutes and then take a 10-minute break. This should really keep your mind fresh and focused when you study. Number 3 is make sure that you cultivate good study skills and habits. And remember that understanding and remembering information for your test takes time. So developing good study habits long before the test is incredibly important. So to do that, remember to do your homework, do your readings, submit your assignments on time, and ask your professors any questions if you have any questions. Also, take your notes in class, review them daily, and take advantage of any practice tests that your teacher gives you. And you can also create your own practice tests. So think about the things that you might be tested on and how you might be tested on those things, and build your own study guide from there. You can also talk to your peers for some useful ideas and work together to create those practice tests and do them together. Also, work with your classmates to practice explaining class materials and hard concepts, because remember, we learn best by teaching. Another very important thing for everybody when we study is to choose our spot, our study space, and optimize our environment. So make sure that you pick a quiet, well-lit area, and make sure that you keep it tidy as well. Also, remember about distractions, right? Make sure that you don't have any distractions around you. For example, if your phone is something that is very distracting, then maybe keep it out of your sight. Or maybe you want to use apps that block some social media apps that you don't use them. Also, you can experiment and think about maybe adding some background music to your study routine, or maybe some sounds, or maybe silence works for you. So experiment and see what works better for you when you study, and then of course do those things to better prepare for your exams. Another thing is, of course, don't cram, and make sure that you rest and take very good care of yourself, your mental health and your physical health. That includes getting enough sleep, staying active by maybe going for a walk, exercising, meditating, doing breathing exercisings, and eating high protein meals, as well as drinking lots of water. And last but not least, remember that there are so many services available for you at George Brown College, and one of them is the Tutoring and Learning Centre. And make sure that when you get ready for your exams or getting ready for your tests, book an appointment with the Tutoring and Learning Centre, where you will work with an experienced tutor who can help you understand and practice course materials. Maybe they can help you create a consolidated study guide and tools like flashcards to make sure that you really retain the information. So remember, be active in your learning and seek help when needed.
It can also help to have some strategies for dealing with uncertainty when you're in the test. Maryana had some great advice for this.
Number one is make sure that you understand the instructions before you get started. So read the entire test, if possible, before you get started. So we understand that sometimes there are some computer-based tests that you cannot really skip ahead. But if there is an opportunity for you to look through the entire test, that will be very beneficial, because that will help you understand the structure of the test, maybe look at the areas that might need more time or less time, and that will help you to think strategically about your test and divide your time. Also, you want to skim through the test to make sure that you understand both the content and then what the test is asking you to do. Once that's done, write down any relevant information that you remember immediately, because that is almost like creating your little cheat sheet where, if you forget a certain concept, but you think it's important for the test, then you can go back to it and then use it in one of your answers. Also, another very useful tip is pull apart and understand every question. So pay attention to verbs. So when a question would ask you to compare or contrast or criticize or define or summarize or explain, so make sure you pay attention to those, because they're telling you what you're supposed to be doing for each question. Also, there are other keywords that can really help you, especially with those multiple choice questions. So words like all or always or never or few or many or some, all of these change meaning significantly. So you want to pay attention to them as well. Tip number 3 is answer the questions you know first, if possible. Again, if possible, because some tests will not allow you to do this, especially computer-based tests. But when possible, you should answer the questions you know first and then move to answering the questions that you skipped. When you go back to the questions that you skipped, you might find that these questions aren't as challenging as you thought at first, because remember, your mind is already wrapped up and you're fully engaged and focused in your task at this point. So going back to the questions you skip, you might realize, oh, I actually know this question, and it's actually not as hard as I thought it was going to be. And suggestion number 4 is be sure that you answered all of your questions and then that you check your work. So make sure that you have a few minutes at the end of your test to check your work. If you're writing an essay, maybe you want to check for any typos, or maybe any points that you may have missed, or maybe there's a better way to phrase something that you wrote. Also, if there are multiple components to a question, you want to make sure that you answer them all. If you're writing a math test, you also want to make sure that, look for some small errors that may impact the final answer. So you don't, I guess my suggestion is you don't want to overthink your answers, but you might want to double check the errors and mistakes that are easy to spot, like those obvious mistakes.
Having these strategies can help reduce some test anxiety. But what else can help reduce test anxiety?
This is a great question, and every student gets nervous before a test at some point, especially if your exam is an important one. So here are a few things that our students can do to calm down a little bit. Number one is take a meditation or stretch break. So take a minute or two before the test or even during the test to focus on your breathing and relax. And also stretch a little bit if that's what you need. Number two, positive thinking. I cannot stress it enough because positive thinking is extremely powerful. Negative thinking undermines our confidence. So instead of saying to yourself, I'm going to fail, say and visualize that you will succeed. Say, I will succeed. Remember the famous quote by Henry Ford that says, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. So think positively and think that you can and that you will succeed on the test to build your confidence. Number three, remember that we don't fail, we learn. Mistakes are learning opportunity. It's easy to get caught up in worrying about a bad grade, but instead remind yourself that it's okay to make mistakes. A wrong answer on the test is an opportunity for you to see where maybe there's a gap in your knowledge so that you can spend some extra time studying that concept. Another helpful thing that you can do is bring your past test to the TLC, and our tutors will help you analyze it and see where you need to spend more time studying and then actually help you with that concept, maybe explain that concept to you and help you practice it. So you're better prepared for next time and you'll learn from that mistake that you made in your first test.
After hearing all this, how do you think you would do in a test right now? Well, our producer Claire got tested by Maryana in her interview. Take a listen and see if you can answer the questions too.
I would like to offer you to play a game with me. It's almost like a little test. It's a multiple choice test. Basically, I'll give you 5 questions and I would like you to help me answer them. These questions are taken from the Learning Portal by College Libraries Ontario. And what I'll do is I'll read the question to you, Claire, and I'll give you a few answers, and then you tell me which ones you think those are, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So question number 1. So imagine, Claire, you're a student, you're writing an exam, and you're stuck because you reached a question that you don't understand. What are your best options? A, pick an option at random. B, ask for clarification. C, read the question again. D, B and C, basically ask for clarification and read the question again.
I would maybe do both B and C. So I guess answer D.
Excellent. Yes.
Woo.
So B and C are both good strategies. Yes. Reading the question again might make it clear for you. And if you don't understand the question, you can ask your instructor to explain it to you. So absolutely, it's both. Ask for clarification and read the question again and ask for help, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Question number 2. You're stuck on a short answer or essay question because you don't know the answer. What are your best options? A, write anything you know about the topic. B, skip the question and come back to it. C, look for clues in other questions. D, all of the above.
I would skip it and come back to it, I think.
Okay. Yes, that's great. And you can actually do all of them.
Okay.
If you write what you know about the topic, so A, you might cover some of the points and get partial marks. Other questions in the test might cover some topic and offer clues to your answer. And skipping the question for you frees up the time that can be better used on questions that you don't know. So you can do both.
Okay. All right.
Question number 3, you're stuck on a multiple choice question because you don't know the answer. What are your best options? A, skip the question and come back to it. B, eliminate answers you know to be incorrect. C, look for clues in other questions. D, all of the above.
Okay, well, now I'm going to go with D, all of the above.
Yes.
Okay.
It's usually when it's all the above, it's usually all the above. Not always though, but absolutely you can eliminate incorrect answers and that will narrow your choices, of course.
Right.
Also, other questions in the test might cover the same topic and offer you some clues in answering the question. And skipping the question, as we've talked about it so many times today, just skip the question and come back to it when you have time.
Right. Okay.
Excellent. Question number 4, you're stuck on a short answer or essay question because you don't know where to start. What are your best options? A, create an outline for essay questions. B, just start writing. C, A and B, so create an outline for essay question and just start writing. And D, none of the above.
I guess C, do the outline and start writing.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, because the outline will help you plan your answers and cover all the important points. And once you have your outline, you can just start writing. And once you started writing, you can just push back that block that you've experienced. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And I always try to remind myself that the expectation of an essay answer in a live test is not as high as a essay that you'd hand in that you've prepared ahead of time. Like it can be a little bit meandering or you don't have that time to go back and edit it and make it perfect. So you just need to get your ideas down and you need to make sure that the prof knows that you know the information. So that's more important than perfection in those moments, I think.
Yes, 100%. Yes, that's a very good point, actually. That's true. Like the expectations when you're writing an essay in the moment is very different from an essay that you have time to plan and organize and proofread. So it's a very good point. Yes, create an outline, start writing, and don't worry about being perfect.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Yes, thank you. Okay, and the last question is question number 5. You're stuck because you think you know the answer to a question, but you can't remember it. What are your best options? A, pick an option at random. B, visualize the answer's location in your notes and readings. C, think of your mnemonic devices. B and C.
I guess B and C. Yeah, try to use that information that you've studied with.
Yes.
If you can.
Yes, of course. Yes, you can. B and C both are good strategies. So remembering what you wrote in your notes might bring your memory to that information, and so you remember it. And then mnemonic devices are very useful memory triggers, especially if you're trying to remember like a list of items or something like that. So absolutely both are correct. And congratulations, Claire. Now you know.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. That was really helpful, actually.
And I hope all of our students who are listening to this know what to do if they're writing a test and they get stuck. Remember, don't panic and just use the strategies we've discussed here today, but also use the strategies that work for you. There are so many strategies that we have not included in today's podcast, but maybe these are the things that work for you. So I encourage everybody to experiment, see what works for you, and do that when you're getting ready for an exams. So basically before doing exam. So excellent.
Was that helpful? The Tutoring Learning Centre is so helpful. Believe me, they're one of the most useful services on campus.
There are many ways you can access TLC support. So we offer one-on-one tutoring if you're looking for that personalized support. We also have drop-in sessions, workshops, weekly learning groups and study sessions. We offer course-embedded tutorials, online resources, and also on-site resources. So there are so many opportunities for you to learn and to practice what you're learning in your courses every week. To get in touch with us, I would encourage all of you to go on our website, georgebrown.ca/TLC, and there you can find our locations, our hours of operation. You can also book an appointment on our website. Remember, we offer 1 hour of tutoring per subject per day. So you can have 7 hours of English tutoring a week, or you can have 7 hours of math tutoring a week. So there are so many resources. I encourage you to connect with us and use our services. And I will mention that we are located in all of our campuses. So we are at Casa Loma, St. James, Waterfront, and we're also located at TMU and 341 King Street East. So you have lots of different options to get in touch with us. And I hope that I see you in all of our centers.
It really makes me breathe a sigh of relief. And I'm happy to know that as a student, our experience at GBC is well thought out. We have all the provisions we need to end the semester on a high. All the supports you need are in place. It's just up to you to grab a hold of it and make it happen. Come on now, Huskies. I see those A's on the horizon and they're looking good. So for those of us in a Swiftie mode, if you're feeling a little worried about the finals, just shake it off, and head over to the TLC office on your campus. Let's do these exams and run towards the future where our wildest dreams are made possible. Hang in there, Huskies. And Huskies, don't forget, the link to the TLC website can be found in the show notes. See you next time, same place. And remember, walk good.